ICE agents are now entering, breaking in, busting windows in your home without a warrant, saying they are following the law. We have the story. Here it is. Police! Police! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up!
ICE followed this woman home after they took her husband and father, barged into her home without a warrant, saying she was aiding and abetting more criminals. She's a US citizen, as are the only other people who live with her literal children. Nicole Amaya's husband and father went to the grocery store and never came home. A broken taillight led to a traffic stop, and since both men have not returned. Her husband was in the middle of his asylum case, having escaped MS-13 12 years ago. Her father, who's 75, says he's not able to access his medication for his diabetes in the detention center they were sent to, and describes horrible conditions. In an exclusive with Mother Jones, Amaya describes after the remaining family returned home collapsing on the floor after what just happened. She has 6 children, including a 1-year-old, and their sole breadwinners were just kidnapped. Then, moments later, loud bangs rang out, and ICE agents with weapons drawn forced themselves into their home. You can see they violently pulled Amaya's 12-year-old son away and hear as her baby cries. Recently, a whistleblower revealed to the Associated Press that ICE agents are going against their written training and the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution and are being trained instead to enter homes without a warrant, like they did to Amaya's family. Amaya is a stay at home mom without the resources to be able to feed herself and her children. She's waking up every 2 hours due to stress. Their power and heat was shut off and they're facing eviction. Recently, because they can't afford to get their door fixed, someone broke in and ransacked their home and their immigration documents were stolen.
Put up the memo. Here's what it contained. Through his memo, ICE Director Todd Lyons broadened the interpretation of, quote, likely to escape, end quote, dismissing a previous definition ICE relied on that he said was unreasoned and incorrect. That prior interpretation of, quote, likely to escape was based on a determination that someone was a flight risk or unlikely to comply with immigration proceedings, like attending court hearing. But the director said someone is, quote, likely to escape if they are unlikely to remain at the location where they were encountered. Quote, an alien, and understand they utilize the term alien intentionally in order to make you think they're different than you, okay? Always remember that. The alien, this is the quote, is likely to escape if an immigration officer determines he or she is unlikely to be located at the scene of the encounter or another clearly identifiable location once an administrative warrant is obtained. He wrote, what is an administrative warrant? Sounds official. It's basically one they made up. It's not signed by a judge. Okay. They made it up. And they have some level of federal authority here, but obviously they're utilizing it not only unethically, but also, I believe, illegally. And every judge who gets the fruit of this tree has to kick the cases out with prejudice. That's the only way they will stop. If they are incentivized by judges going along with the arrest, it will only embolden them. They are testing the system. There's more. So these are factors. Agents are told to consider now when assessing the likelihood of an immigrant escaping. Ms. Lyons' memo lists factors agents can consider when deciding the standard has been met. Now, we already know these cats have horrible judgment, including whether someone obeys commands or tries to evade commands has access to a car or another means to leave, maybe a bicycle, has identification, you can't have that. You have identification, that's a problem. You're likely to escape. We can violate all of your rights now. Or work authorization, you have the audacity to have a job, likely to escape. Now, this is in their memo. Put it up. There's more. Work authorization documents. Remember, work authorization means you're authorized to work legally. Agents suspect of fraudulent. What does that mean? That means that all of them are fraudulent. That's the point. That's why when they arrest people, even citizens, they say, hey, I tried to give them my ID. They didn't want my ID. That's right, because they've determined whatever you show them is fraudulent because they get to disguise themselves with that BS standard. So every document will be fraudulent if they decide it. Not if it is, not if it's a suspicious document. It's a prerequisite to the exacting offense, which is to violate your rights. Or provides unverifiable or suspected false information. Unverifiable information is not the same as false information. What's your last name? Matt, can't verify it. Sorry, likely to escape. The memo suggests the rules are designed to give ICE greater flexibility. They're already committing murder. They're killing people unarmed. Police chiefs are saying they're committing murder. Sheriffs, elected sheriffs are saying they're committing murder. They need more what? Flexibility. They already got a $50,000 bonus, completely underqualified, shouldn't be at the job anyway. To quickly arrest unauthorized immigrants who are not the original targets of an operation, but are nonetheless encountered and found to have violated U.S. immigration law. This is called a witch hunt. Those detentions are known as, quote, collateral arrest, and typically involve immigrants accused of civil immigration violations, not criminal, but lack any serious criminal histories or any criminal history whatsoever. All right, Yas, thoughts here.
Look, if you're on the side that supports any of this still, then you are on the wrong side of history. You just are. And if you are, then just know that and know that history will not remember you positively. History is not going to mince its words or sentiments when it comes to you or your humanity or your morality. It won't be a question of two sides of a story. It'll be a question as to how so many people who claim to support and love democracy and this country and the tenets of our Constitution and Jesus fell for this cruel, racist, fear based grift that is unconstitutional from start to finish. Kids will study the people who supported this administration in the future, and it will not be in a flattering way. And if you're a Republican, but you're like, oh, I don't really agree with the actions of ICE, no one cares. No one cares anymore. Unless you are like vocally outspoken against the actions of this administration, no one cares. You are still the same as all of the rest of them who are excited about everything ICE is doing to our own countrymen. And yes, our countrymen, because these are people who live here. And even if they're not citizens, many of them are on the path to citizenship. They are paying taxes. They are working individuals. They are not criminals. They are not terrorists. They're not gang members. All of these things that everyone watching this show already understands, but the people who are still supporting this administration, the people who still have not spoken out against it, even to their own family members, you are still the problem, and the rest of us see you as that problem. And that's how I feel about that.
Very well said. Everyone is a citizen of Earth, period.